All right. Um, this is sort of like maybe you want to share this with your friends to talk about, hey, if they're complaining that their feet hurt because they've been home and now they're putting their shoes back on and they don't feel so good. Maybe we can talk about how to help that, but not go full-fledged. I paused the video briefly to go grab a couple of other examples. Anyway, my husband's been home for 2 months. He is starting to see, and I'm especially noticing, that every time he puts his shoes on, his knees hurt. These are his kind of old Skechers. I looked up, it seems like Skechers have about a 1.5 inch drop. That's kind of a lot. So his heel would be up here. He'd dip down and then his toes go up here. There's a lot of padding in here. And it's not like, it's really, sorry, I'm so low tech. It's really inflexible. And this is an old broken in shoe. This is not a new one. It also has the taper. The only thing I could convince him of at this point was to go flat. He's been flat working at home being barefoot. So therefore having a flat shoe made sense to him. He's not really thinking about toe box shape or even flexibility. Just, hey, you're right. I'm flat all the time. It might not be the best for my body to suddenly jump onto an incline when I have to go to the store or whatever. So I got him to first try some Limbs primals. He wasn't too keen on the color options and the sizing was so off. We sent those back and he looked himself and came up with the New Balance Minimus. This has been out for quite a while. I would definitely call it a transition shoe at best. It is flat. It really has that going for it. And this upper is very soft and really allows the feet the room they need. So there we got some goods. It's still not super flexible. In fact, it's kind of similar to the other. He can move them, but he's not really thinking about the fact that, feet need to not fight your shoe. So you're still kind of fighting in this for your foot to do what it needs. But it does have some bonuses. It's also, wow, I thought standing up might help my coughing, but it just doesn't seem to matter. If I'm talking, I'm coughing. My kids, let's see, husband got sick in February. Then my kids got a really bad bronchitis. And then they gave it to me. And anyway, bronchitis, no fevers, no COVID. I swear. It's just lingering bronchitis plus spring. So anyway, fun times. Let's talk about shoes though. So this is not the greatest toe box. What I went and grabbed was, this is our oldest son's Zero Prios. You see that this is pretty rounded. It's also, since he's a kid, I was able to find one shoe. So, but look at this, the flexibility there. Really, you cannot compare. I was hoping to actually get my husband into the Zeros. But again, he really likes white shoes. And most of the white shoes are either transitional or too urban, I guess. We live in the country. If it doesn't work for Home Depot, it's not really his style. So this is what the second tier we agreed to try. Prime Wardrobe does have some sizes. I really want to make this video, but I hope I stop coughing soon. I got this and another version. This is the Prevail. Let's get rid of these big old inflexible shoes. And we'll keep that for a second because we might want to show it. He was really flabbergasted to see these that I got today, how insanely flexible they are. I mean, all the things you can do, they're more flexible than the Zeros. My foot does not have to fight this shoe. And that's a good thing. So I'm going to set these down. These are pretty clean. Down here in the box, we also have another New Balance. Hopefully I won't accidentally send this back. We are absolutely sending back these others. These are also considered Minimus. But man, they are weird. First, and it doesn't quite show up as much here, but this toe box actually looks a little bit better than the other one. You can see it's straight, but the shoe is more narrow. Both of these are actually New Balance's wide models. So this one over here definitely has some taper, and I'm not a fan, and I told him that. But all he cares about right now, the only thing that he was really interested in is that it's flat, because at least he's on the right plane. He's on a level plane. This one, better toe box shape, narrow. The inside is so weird. First, the tongue actually, let's take this out, connects all the way to the base of the shoe. I've never seen that before. It's so odd. I know I'm turning the shoe around like a million ways. It actually connects all the way around. So you're kind of in this glove here. And then when you put it on, I've actually put this shoe on. Right here, there is some mega arch support. It's not the same in this other shoe. There's some in the white shoe, but it is not nearly as harsh. This one is also a lot more narrow. If we look at the bottom, you can see it's got an okay foot shape, but it's a really narrow foot shape. This one has a much wider appearance, but it does have that taper at the end. So still his toes are going to be a little crunched in this, but he's flat. And it's a little bit, teensy bit more flexible. This one is really rigid. And I have been in minimalist shoes for less than a year. I mean, it was like last August, so 9 months. My feet have adapted a lot. This shoe, I was wearing like really rigid Keens before that. And I just can't imagine anymore. So this felt really strange to put on. So we are definitely sending that back. However, it is flat, and some people have really narrow feet. But it seems to me that if your friend or your family member has really narrow feet, they probably are still going to need the wide in this. Let's see what this one's called. The Meta Support. Which I mostly ordered it simply so that he could try these. So we could get the 3 and give Prime a try. I know returns are easy, but it's also it's easier if you don't ever even get charged. So those are going back. But a few things to tell your friends is, my husband was not at all interested. This was my thing, and he kind of thinks it's weird. And we talk about shoe companies, he's like, that sounds paranoid. Whatever. There has to be a mental shift for somebody to be willing to listen. And quarantine may be that shift for a lot of people, getting to the point where they haven't worn their shoes for a while. It affects men with the heel to toe drop, because they're walking around in houses without wearing shoes. But it affects women even more, because our shoes are so much more restrictive on the whole. Men's dress shoes, I'd say a lot of people, especially businessmen, haven't put on dress shoes at all. So this is a big change, and people are going to go back and they're going to think, wow, my feet hurt. That's all they're going to think, unless there's a little bit of education going on. And that, I don't know if it sounds hokey or whatever, but that was part of why I started this Instagram, because I wanted there to be resources for people to see and share about shoes. Maybe the shareability on Instagram is great. You can share some things with your friends, and I'm not just talking about shoes. I'm talking about profiles like Gait Happens and Dr. Imraz. I'm not really sure how to say your name. Sorry. But I like your page. Petra Fisher Movement, AM Alignment, Barefoot Podiatrist, Katie Bowman's page. Wow. Which I think, I follow her, but I followed her for a while, so I think it's just Nutritious Movement. Those pages will share a lot, the Foot Collective, they'll share a lot of great resources that you can share with people. And I think they're not going to listen automatically, but it does prompt some ideas in people's minds. And we are kind of going to hack ourselves to death. Or that's just me. But we have knowledge. We have already made that shift. And so we have a lot to share. And I just hope that people will take the opportunity to do that. And even if you can get somebody into a transitional shoe, like New Balance, like Merrell Vapor Gloves or Vapor Trails, I'm not familiar at all with either. I went from Keen's super structured sandals to Zeros. I just jumped straight over. Ultras. Maybe Topo, but I think that's the one I looked at that had a ton of toe spring. Some of those get mentioned as transition shoes, but still have a drop. You got to really watch that. Like I said, the most important thing I wanted to get my husband into was flat. Flat first, and then we'll go from there. So anyway, New Balance, they have other models too, but if you're looking at this for yourself or for a loved one or a friend, check the toe boxes. There are differences. The Minimus was nice because it does come in wide. He and I are not that different in length, but he has wider feet than I do. So that was a big plus for him. But still wide, and this is not as wide as you may think. So this is better than the black, but the toe box in the black is better. So it seems like there's not really a perfect in this, and it's not flexible. So anyway, thanks for watching.